checking our channel here. It's going to be a repair video or testing video, I hope, on a Gallagher B600. This is a 6 joule stored, probably 3 or 4 output joule unit. This is around from this yellow case version. They made a black case version look just like it. It's a black case in the early mid 2000s, but a variation of the B600 came out in the 80s called the Super Battery. I think it's what it's called, Gallagher Super Battery. It was in kind of a blue case, kind of that color of blue, honestly, kind of a turquoisey blue color, and that came out in the 80s. So this is a little different than that one, but you know, this is basically a 40-year-old design for the most part. A lot of the factory parts for this are long gone. The guys had this worked on maybe once, and he bought it, I think he said he bought it in 1995. So, and he thinks maybe he had it worked on once about 10, 12 years ago by somebody. He wasn't in the system on our end, so we've never touched it. We're going to try to get it going. Said it was working one day and next day it wasn't, sort of thing. So we're going to pull it apart here and see what's going on with it. Okay. The main part that goes bad on these is the main board. And the main board, oh shit, I see some hot spots. I wasn't hooked the battery up to see what it did, but oh shit. Alright, there's a resistor here, which, oh good. Okay, it's got a, I have to desolder, but I think it's a 10K, either 10K or 100K ohm resistor sits right there. The nice thing about these old Gallaghers is on these, a lot of these parts, they have like, you know, R1 on RC3, R2, D2, whatever, on these little spots here. But they'll tell you, I mean, D stands for diode, R stands for resistor, C stands for capacitor on the boards. But a lot of them, when you pull the part off, it will tell you the voltage rating or the ohms rating or whatever of the devices. So when you pull it off there, if you don't know what the part is, you know what the symbol means, you can put another one just like it back in there. So I'm going to turn my solder iron on and get powered it up. But I'm going to check these. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4 diodes right here. There's a couple, looks like there's a 200 volt, a couple 100 volts, 20 volt, and where that large one is, see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, okay, it's a 200 volt, a 20 volt, 200 volts. So we'll check all those. If this inverter step-up transformer thing on the board goes bad, we are screwed in this deal. Let's see, because you can't get these boards anymore, and this was built by Gallagher and House, I think. This complete unit wasn't outsourced by anybody. So I need to get that resistor up. I'm going to check these 4 diodes to make sure that they're good. That's good. Good. Okay, good. So all 4 of those are fine. Okay, there's a resistor up here. That's probably used as a protection piece for this LED. It's pretty dark. A little bit dark on the back side. But this first resistor right there is pretty warm. So we're going to go ahead and just be on the safe side. We'll pull it out of circuit. And I'm just going to replace it. When they get that hot, even if they test good, it's wise to probably just go ahead and change it, because resistors are pretty cheap. And I think that resistor, I think it's a 10K or 10 ohm. I can't see what that second symbol is next to the, I know it says 10, but I don't know if that's, it could be 100 ohm or 100K ohm. It's hard to say. Can't quite tell. Can't see underneath it very well. Phew, it stinks though. That resistor stinks. Alright, that is a 10k ohm resistor. It's like a quarter watt. I don't know if I got a quarter watt that side, but I definitely got a half watt maybe. Yeah, it says 10k right on there. 10k ohm resistor. Let's go ahead and pull that resistor off right there, because it's got a little hot. I think, like I said, I think it's just a protection for the LED. And I think this board is original, because there's no stamp on the board with a date code, like a serial number. And most replacement boards had a number on it, a sticker on it with a serial number on there. So I think this is probably the original board from 1995. And people want to know why you pay more for Gallagher. That's because their quality is top notch. You know, you pay more for them, but look, this thing's been worked on once, that the guy said, in almost 30 years, 29 years ago. That's a 10k resistor right there as well. Alright, well, let's grab my packs of resistors here. Let's see what we got. Those are 1 watt, don't want to use those. 1 watt resistors would work. Kind of overkill. So I'm going to look in. These are all half watt or quarter watt. But let's see, I got to find a couple 10k ohm resistors. But if they're not here, I know one other spot that they're in. Now I could put the, if I've got them in the 1 watt size, they'll physically work. There's a couple there's 20k. We could put two 20ks in parallel, and that will divide it straight in half to 10k. We're getting down to the last little. There's 5k. We could put 2 of those in series and make 10k. Okay, let's look up here real quick. I've got some resistors up here. I use them for other things. That's a 2.4, that's a 1.5, that's a 1 meg, that's 22, 2.7k, 1 ohm, 100k. I don't think they're going to be up here, but it's worth a shot to look. That's a 3.3k. These are ones I use for certain. It's 1.5 for certain repairs on certain things that require that resistor. There's 10k. That's these are 1 watt, so I guess we just have to use those. Let's use some 1 watts. We just may have to make the holes in the board a little bit bigger. Those might fit in the board. We'll see. Wouldn't it be nice if we put these 2 parts in there? And this unit goes, we'll check the capacitor out as well, but wouldn't it be nice if we put these 2 parts in there and it goes working like a dream? That pad is pretty wore up, so what we'll do is we'll follow that trace around and we'll just solder that lead down to there. Because the pad was pretty burnt up and it basically burned right off the board. Put that in right there. Oh, that pad burned off too. That one's about to burn off. Okay, so we need to do a little cleaning up on the board and soldering, running jumper leads and stuff to the corresponding spots. Okay, there's one. This one I think is going to be okay. Okay. Alright, I need small wire. Alright, I will be right back. I gotta go. I ordered some wire here not too long ago, and it just got here the other day. But I need it's real small. I got this wire here, but I don't need that big gauge. I need a small gauge wire. I need to solder from here over to there. And I don't want the big gauge wire to just take up too much space and be a little bit sloppy trying to get in those little spots there. So I'll be right back. Alright, I got this little kit here. It came with some heat shrink, which I don't need that, but I'm going to save it though. You never know when you need heat shrink. You got this kit here I bought months ago and slowly been whittling through it. So we'll just take this here. I'm going to cut it in half. I don't need this. Let's put it there. Good enough. Alright, we'll just use, let's get this blue wire. Alright. Alright, so what I'm going to do first, I'm fresh up the solder joint here. Just going to reflow it and add a little fresh spot of solder. I'm going to tin this wire by adding some solder to it. And then I don't need that much of it exposed, not that much. And then I'm going to solder it. Right there. I'm going to hold them side by side, touch them at the same time solder on it. It should just flow together. Till it kind of cools down, hardens up. And we'll run it down here. Cut this a little long, not much, just so I have a little room to play with. Strip that back just a little bit. I'll snip off just a little bit. On there, and then we'll hold that side by side. Ow. Hot. And we'll snip off. Oh, wait a minute. This wire, there's not a solder joint there. Our solder pad burned off. Alright, I'm going to snip off just a little bit of that. Now, I should be able to hold them side by side. Since they're both coated in solder, heat them both up together, they should just kind of blend together. Now, one thing I want to check is continuity between, we'll go here to here. Okay, it touches. Alright. A little corrosion there. Let's check these two. Let's just do a couple other little checks. Check this big diode here. Let's check this capacitor. This is a 30 microfarad. Ooh, capacitor is bad. Let's so we'll need to replace that. That capacitor looks like it has been changed, and that was the gray one. Those gray ones that Gallagher used about 15 some years ago weren't the greatest long term, but I mean, if it's been changed 10 years ago, I mean, you got 10 years out of it. We're going to change that out. Let's check it real quick, just now that it's out of circuit, just to see, just to make sure we're not missing anything. It should read, this one's a 30. Yeah, see, nothing at all. So capacitor's bad. So probably a combination of bad capacitor and issues with the board. So hopefully we put a new capacitor in, and the repairs that we did to the board, hopefully the thing will just fire up and click and pulse and do its whole thing. So let me go grab a capacitor for it. Okay, there's a capacitor. It's a little wider, a little bit bigger around, but this would work. We'll just have to we'll have to put a different strap on the thing because it's going to be a little too big around with the strap that was holding this original one. Is not going to fit around it, but it'll work long term. It'll work just fine. All right, so let me apply power to this. It's a 12 volt model. I think it'll run up to 36 joules or 36 volts. Got on off switch on it. Right now it's off, or it's off now. Let's let me get my power supply. It's set at 13 volts. We're going to hook it on to the little eyelet here. I'm going to flip the switch on. There it goes. Now these Gallagher battery units, they were known, the old ones were known to make that winding up sound. That's what they all did. All the battery units that Gallagher made back in the 90s made this sound. Some were louder, some were softer, some made a little bit different squeal noise, but they all made it. This does have a half power or low, high, medium switch. Right now it's on low, so medium, a little high. It's cycling through the different motions. Let's put our sense tester on there, and that light's flashing. Every pull, that's a good sign. Let's go across fence to ground on high power. We're getting about 7,000 volts. Let's go to medium. Should be about 1,000 volts less. And about almost 6,000. So low power should be about 4,000, 4,500. Yeah. All right, where it's supposed to be. These old Gallaghers, man, you can't beat them. Let's put our screwdriver or tool across to see what kind of spark it throws. Yeah, working like a dream. Awesome. Okay, let's. All right, so what I'm going to do to keep that thing from moving around, we do two things. We put this right here, this double-sided foam tape, clean off some of the dust right there, so it's got kind of a clean surface to mate up against. Come on. Come on. Okay, and then I need, oh shoot. Got these metal somewhere. These metal zip ties, stainless steel. I cinch it down with it. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the tool to cinch it down with. There are these metal bands, metal metal cable ties. Put them down here where I usually have them. Put them over there where they're not usually at. And with it being metal, it's being stainless steel, it won't get brittle, it won't break, and it won't rust. Use this to cinch this down with. And we'll put this in like that. I'm just gonna ratchet it down, put this lever down, and cut off our tail. Cover up the guy's name and phone number on the front. I don't need anybody calling them. Alright, let's just turn it on. Little green lights on. Red lights flashing. So I'm ready to go back to work. For hopefully another 30 plus years. Alright, well, thanks for checking our channel. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that, will you? Hit the thumbs up button, appreciate that. And we just saved another one from the crusher. Alright, move on to another one. Till next time, see you later on.